Tom Vasel's top 100 games of all time.
Mike DiLisio, bravissimo, sporadically bored, but never pianissimo.
Zee Garcia, voice of the people.
And that's what I think about that. But enough about Barbie. Let's talk about board games.
He really was talking about Barbie.
That's what the pink is for.
They'll never believe it.
I'm Tom Vasel.
I'm Mike DiLisio.
I'm Zee Garcia.
And welcome back to the top 100 games of all time. We're almost 1/3 through. We won't even be 1/3 through when we're done with this. Well, remember that tomorrow, 3 games in, will be now we're 1/3 through.
Yes.
But only after after Mike gives his.
Right.
Because that's 1/3 and 1/3.
That's pretty specific, yes.
Math!
Whoa, whoa!
Ah! I'm under attack!
I don't know what that was.
Dangerous what it was.
Apparently we've not worked off the coffee from... All right, we want to do some shout-outs to some of our...
I just did do some shouts.
Yeah, you did.
to some
Let
of
it
our
all out.
Kickstarter backers. We want to say thank you to Ali Alafi...
Wow.
Ali Alafifi. Fifi?
Fee-fi,
Whoa.
faux fum.
Veronica Gallagher. To Andrzej Tucholsky, which he said it was a Polish name, so pronunciation might be tricky. That's good
Sure.
enough.
Yep.
Stephen Paltrineri, Peter Mulholt.
Yeah.
I'm really struggling here, guys. David Yaron,
Rough block.
Tyson, Shane Barford, and Clark Bender. I know I can say that one.
Yep.
I'll say it again. Clark Bender.
We thank you twice, Clark.
We have our Kickstarter.
job.
Only a few days left, folks. So check it out, DicetowerKickstarter.com. Also, this video, we have a contest for you. This video is sponsored by the World Series of Board Gaming, and you can enter a contest to win a $450 certificate off of an entry to that. And all you got to do is email us at contest@Dicetower.com, and in the subject line, put the word Vegas. In the body, tell us your favorite thing about
Here we go.
baked potatoes. Your favorite topping for baked potatoes.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. You're like, wait, you asked a different question yesterday because the answer doesn't really matter.
No.
But it's
Don't
one entry
reveal
per
your
person.
secrets.
I know.
No, it matters. We need your real topping for baked potato.
toppings.
What is
Top
it? What is it for
toppings.
you?
Bacon bits.
Bacon bits? Real bacon bits?
I don't care. Fake bacon bits is fine. Yeah, it's fine. Come on, get off your high horse.
To me, like a loaded baked potato, which would be butter, cheese,
yeah.
bacon, real bacon.
One
preferably.
ingredient, Mike. What's the number one?
Number one, honestly, is butter.
I think the number one ingredient is potato.
Well, that's true, but if I'm adding, it's going to be butter.
Onions for me. Onions
Really?
for me.
Your
Kind of
number one.
onions. Like
Like regular onion. Well, I
not
mean,
like.
Like
Red
sauteed
onions.
onion or raw?
no, I like them raw on a baked
Really?
potato.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
What
yeah.
about the little long
Thank you,
green
Marcello,
stalk
for the
guy
super
with
chat.
Chives, yeah.
chives? That's
Yeah.
a number one. Chives.
Over bacon bits now?
Oh, I don't know. Do they make fake chives? Because then those.
They have dried chives.
But I do, my goal is to put as much stuff on the baked potato as possible.
Yeah.
You put onions, chives, cheese, sour cream, bacon, real bacon bits.
Ooh.
I don't know your fake bacon garbage.
Barbecue pulled pork's a good
Corn,
call, too.
and then meat. The best baked potato I've ever had is at that Hard 8 in Dallas.
that's right,
You can get it there, and they're cooking the meat right on the grill and throwing it on the baked
Yeah.
potato.
That would be
Okay,
good.
okay.
That would be
That's-
good. Peanut butter.
That's
Oof.
not where the World Series of Board Gaming is, though. The
No.
World Series of Board Gaming is in Las Vegas, and it's coming up later on this September. And you can go in there and win and be the World Series Board Gaming champion and win $25,000. But there are 16 events in this particular thing, and whatever one you win, let's say you win Patchwork or you win Terra Mystica, it doesn't matter which event you win, you can go all the way to the finals and
Right.
win the whole thing. Ticket to Ride, you can win the whole thing. But there's also side events going on. So
Right.
they'll have small little events. Like they might say, hey, we're having a Carcassonne tournament over here. And the winner gets some prize. It's not going to be $25,000,
Sure.
but it's another prize.
Okay.
Also, I've just been in communication with AEG, so I'll be running Ready, Set, Bet there on the side.
Oh,
not for
that's
prizes, just for cool factor.
Just for fun.
Okay.
So,
Gambling on the side in Vegas.
$50 a
seems
chip.
A little redundant, right?
$50 a chip. Dice Star pays out, though.
Whoa, whoa.
Wow.
Slow down. We're running a Kickstarter right now. Ixnay on the running a contest for actual money.
That's a joke,
indeed.
just in case there's YouTube moderators watching. All right, let's jump into our next 10 here. For me, I got 3 new entries in this.
Don't think I have any new entries yet.
So you're just boring. And
It's very boring.
And the people have 1 new entry. So 1 for them, 3 for me.
I have
I'm going to go through these quickly. These are very boring. In fact, this is the one video you can skip.
2.
What about my stuff?
You can skip it.
2 new entries, although. No, I'm sorry. 3 new entries, actually, although only 2 of them are actually new games.
I have one game on here which is not in any way new, but it wasn't on last year.
Then that's new!
I can't find it.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's been on my top 100 at some point. It's just not
Right.
in my data here. So.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, Twilight Scuttle. All right,
Twilight Scuttle.
let's get started. Here we go.
All right, number 80, let's kick this list off with the greatest drop. Yesterday I thought was my greatest drop, and then I realized, no, this one has actually dropped 59. 59 spots.
So what was it?
Let's see, if it's
Tell them quickly, what was it?
if it's 80 now.
21.
It was 21 last year. See?
I give you round numbers and you can really
real,
flex it.
That's real-time mathematics,
Oh,
folks.
amazing, Tom. You really are.
And,
I'm impressed.
You know the girls are. Remember, just go ahead.
my number 80 is Lords of Hellas.
while you're ahead.
And you mentioned this game yesterday, Tom, because it dropped for you. And it's kind of the same thing for me. Number 1 is that I've played Lords of Ragnarok right now, and I know that that's probably going to be what I prefer to play.
Okay.
It's a bit more streamlined while still kind of keeping much of what I like about Lords of Hellas, and just kind of smoothing off some of those rough edges that many Awakened Realms games have, in my opinion. They can create some great experiences, but oftentimes there's some kind of rough edges there. I think that this game shows more of those rough edges. Thank you, Aaron, for the super sticker. Still a good game.
Which theme do you like better? Which pantheon is your favorite pantheon?
Is it bad to say that?
Corduroy
I don't really,
pants,
yeah, corduroy. Yeah, I don't really have that strong of an opinion either way.
Okay.
I'm fine with both. I like the steampunky element. I really do. I know it's stupid, but I like the idea of Zeus in a mech. I love that.
Do you think they'll do Egyptian next?
Probably. I mean, that would make the most sense, right?
Yeah.
But as long as
Sphinx
they
on a
keep
jet ski.
yes, starring Samuel L.
I
Jackson.
would much want a Sphinx on a jet ski.
Stupid.
Good game. Just dropping a bit because I've played a better one that is very similar.
Okay.
Lords of Hellas.
Oh, okay. My number 80 is boring.
I know what the game is, and no.
No, I said Lords of Ragnarok's what I'm talking about.
Oh, I thought you were picking a different game. All right.
No, that's
But
no.
when that game comes up in your list, because I know it's high, I'm still going to say no
All right,
loudly.
well, we'll find out.
I'm curious what you're thinking of.
It might even be on your list, but it ain't on mine. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's my number 80 actually. Gem Rush, second edition.
No.
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 Actually, I have not played Gem Rush.
This is the one that last year, I'm pretty sure, I think for 2 years in a row now, I've sworn that I haven't heard of this game. But I remember last year I said that, and then people called me out.
Yeah.
And I said we would play it, and we still haven't.
This is
No,
your
we have
furnace.
not.
Catch-a-palooza.
This is Victory Point games, yeah?
Victory Point Games,
Yeah.
yes. I used to own the original Gem Rush. Had the those old school folding boxes with the Sir Wipes-A-Lot napkin.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yep.
And I liked that game. I had that for a long time, and then second edition came out. I was able to find one, and it is a better production. It's a better game. There's a little more content in it, a little more approachable. The game is you can actually play co-op or competitive. I think they both actually work.
No, that's rare.
Though I do prefer competitive. And it is an exploration game, a bit. You're moving around, finding new tiles or revealing new places you can go, and then taking actions in these places to manipulate your hand. You are, as you traverse from one tile to the next, you need to pay the gems listed on the side you're intending to traverse and scoring points. That's the gist of it.
Okay.
But it's really neat. It's a fun game. I love exploration. You know, even if I'm not really, in this one, The exploration doesn't feel thematic necessarily. I'm not finding a hidden temple. I'm not actually finding the exit from a cavern. I'm not doing any of that stuff. I'm just sort of flipping over tiles. But it still works for me, and the geometry can be neat. I'm like, oh, I want to go to that room, but I'm too far. I can hop in this mine cart and go over here. Some of that stuff. So I really like this one. Gem Rush, 2nd edition. Very underrated, little known, but I really enjoy it.
All right, my number 80.
Gem Rush?
For 4 years, it's been on my list, so I can finally shed the whole Tom doesn't like solo games thing.
I don't know. You're not big on solo games. You hate them, I would
said
say.
I'm not big. That's correct. But yeah, you're right. There's not that many on my list. But this is a small little one. This is Spropolis. Or Agropolis. They're the same game, but different things.
Tom, top 100.
I like this game a lot.
I am amazed.
This is definitely an addicting style game. If I start playing this,
You can't stop. It's like baked potatoes.
It's like Pringles. Not potatoes.
is this an app? Is there an app for this? Because if it was an app, I think I would play it a lot, actually.
I don't think so, yeah.
But
That would be good.
I
have you
really
heard of
like
Marvel
this.
Snap, though? That's not it.
Oh.
That's kind of like
I
this.
whooped up on Marvel Snapopolis this morning. So anyhow, a Marvel themed Even I'm not going to go that far. All right, Spropolis, really fun. 18-card game with, don't remember how many different combinations there are to play of it.
Yeah.
But even if you play the same combination multiple times, the order the cards coming out is going to be different. A lot of fun. Just different ways to spread out. Very, very good game. Spropolis, my number 80.
Thanks for the super chat.
Super chat from the Rod Father of gaming. Okay.
Okay, the people. I'm just not doing voices, okay?
No.
You tried once.
You tried.
I try once. I'm done. The People's Choice number 80 has been on the list for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is the lowest it's been.
Wow.
Okay.
And I predict it will fall off the list, but with a small boost when the Kickstarter for it finally comes out. And that is Robinson Crusoe.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You remember that? There is a Kickstarter for everything in the kitchen sink. That's not out yet, I'm assuming, right?
Miniatures for the hut and stuff.
know, it's
like
crazy.
stuff. A horse miniature for some reason. Isn't this the one that had a horse
I think
miniature?
so, yeah.
There were all sorts of things.
Yep.
Thank you, Mannequin. I wonder, though, again, Robinson Crusoe does some really cool things, and I'm still amazed nobody has stolen the whole story event will come up later and haunt you back.
I agree.
I love that mechanism.
That's great.
But there are so many cooperative games now, many that feature exploration.
Yeah.
So this genre is very crowded. That's the only reason I think it's not higher. Thank you, Paul, for the super chat.
We did miss a super chat from someone from Hawaii.
Yeah.
Hawaii! Super
Where's
chat.
the super chat from Hawaii? Let's see.
Kai.
Kai.
K. Mm-hmm. That is awesome. Thank you.
Very cool.
So, Robinson Crusoe, like I said, it's very popular. Obviously, it's been on the list for a while, but the highest was 17.
Wow.
But it's slowly sliding down, but it's still a good game.
Yeah.
So, there you
Brutal.
go.
All right, my number 79, you were just talking about a solo game.
Robinson Crusoe. Oh.
No, not that one. Now, obviously, I'm a little bit have more of an affinity for solo games than you do. That's clearly
Tom's a poser. We get it.
established. This is a solo-only game. Robinson Crusoe, you can play
What?
cooperatively. If
I've
you-
been chastened.
You have been officially chastened. This is a pure co-op bag builder from a Japanese company called Sashi and Sashi. This is Coffee Roaster. Roaster.
This is pretty good, actually. I like
You
this
played
game.
this too.
I played it
You're a
correctly.
solo
I play
gamer.
coffee. I'm like the most correct coffee roaster player in the world.
Yeah.
What do you
now-
mean? What did you do? You were roasting coffee?
I was being roasted while I was playing coffee
That's
roaster.
actually, that's funny.
That is
Okay,
good.
yeah.
This is down a number of points, but it's still a very good game for me. The idea is that you are trying to create a particular roast, and so you are placing types of beans into your bag that have different numerical values, and you're trying to, at the end of a round, basically, each round is like a cup of coffee, you're trying to hit a particular value, that's going to be for that particular roast. And the way that I tend to play it, which is the way that I think they recommend it, is that you play through 3 distinct rounds, and then you kind of average those out. And depending on how well you do or how poorly you do, that's going to affect how you approach your next one. It makes it a little bit easier or harder. So this version that you're seeing here is the Stronghold Games edition, which is fine. It's absolutely fine. I prefer the original edition, but that's just strictly aesthetics.
Exactly. Yeah.
This is the one that's available.
How do you feel about Get On Board?
Welcome to the most snooty top 100
There you go. My number 79, Coffee Roaster, a delightful, delightful theme, and I don't have a lot of bag builders. This is a nice little bag builder.
Your 79 better be one that was there's only 3 copies, and you have 2 of them.
No. I will say, I feel like Coffee Roaster may have been ahead of its time.
Yeah, I think you may be right, actually.
Like if it came out right now with how many solo games there are, and bag builders, I think it'd be a little more accepted, maybe.
I think you may be right.
I feel like it was like, what is this?
Yeah, I think it was very...
It's too weird, too early on. Yeah. Anyway, my number 79 dropped quite a bit, actually. It was 46 last time. And again, roll and ride or flip and ride. I talked about Kokoro taking a dive a little bit. This is from the same people, Trails of Tucana.
Oh, wow.
And it dropped a little bit. I do like it better than the other one. I think this is a little more interesting of a connection game.
Was this also another game first?
No, this is it. This is the one. And you are flipping over a couple of cards, and those are location types, like mountains and water, I don't know. And then you draw a line between a mountain and a water hex that have to be adjacent to each other. That's how you make little roads all over this map and try to connect things. Really fun, neat. They have a little expansion that came out, which was really just sort of a couple of alternate maps, and that was a nice little touch. But yeah, this is one of those flip and right type games that I often will pull out.
Yeah.
If somebody wants something quick, and I'm pretty sure they probably haven't played it. You know what I mean? It's one of those that I'm like, you probably haven't tried this one. Let me show you. It's an easy teach.
It is.
It's lighthearted and quick. I enjoy it a lot. So yeah, Trails of Tucana, still on my list. I suspect this one will oscillate a bit, but I think whereas Kokoro might drop off, I suspect this won't.
Yeah, we just played with those extra maps earlier this year, so I enjoyed playing it again. You taught me the first time, I think, on one of the cruises, maybe, and then it was nice to revisit it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mark, for the super chat from Poland.
Was it? There was one from Czech too.
I meant Czech.
That's right.
I don't know, Roy, screw up. I don't want to say the wrong country. Czech Republic.
That's right.
Which is way better than Poland.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Oh boy.
All right.
I'll say Poland's better if there's a reverse of that. Okay.
There you go. Okay.
My number 79 was not on the list the last 2 years, but it was on the list the 2 years before that.
Okay.
So you know what? It's because I played it again. I forgot how fun this game is. This is the very, very fast version of either Cash and Guns or Sheriff of Nottingham, and that is, I always forget the name of this game. I don't know why. Good Critters.
Oh, yeah.
I always want to say Teeth Toshin, which is the original one, which is not better than the reprint. Actually, it's pretty good, the reprint. So thank you, Patrick, for the super chat from Patrick. Good Critters is a game in which you are basically splitting up loot. One person decides how everyone gets loot, and then you vote on whether that happens or not. And if the vote goes against the person splitting loot, that person's ejected from the round, and someone else splits the loot. And
Look at the light. Just look at the light.
I did look at the light and nothing happened.
Keep looking.
It went away.
Trying to sneeze.
Got it. I was very, very lost there. Okay.
I was also lost.
Yeah.
Good Critters is a very small box game, and it's really fun for big groups. It is a lot of fun to split that and argue. And there's a little bit of did you do this and I'm doing this, and you can also try to steal money. Someone's going to steal money each turn. Someone's skimming off the top. It's just a really fun game. I wonder if maybe the animal mobsters didn't do it for a lot of people.
It looks a little cutesy.
It didn't do particularly well.
Somebody did say Bad Guys the game. That actually would be a really good re-theme for this. Those little bad guys is like those little critters who are thieves or whatever.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
I've seen pieces of it. Yeah,
That's
I've seen pieces
movie.
of it. Yeah,
I have not seen it.
It's cute. It's like, again, it's like because the voice actor I like, who's the main guy, can't remember now who the main voice actor is, but yeah, it's like a group of characters who are doing heists and stuff.
Okay.
And it's based on some comic, I guess, and so that would be a great fit.
Nice.
Medicine Man wants to play Botnik with you, but we can't because we're doing this right now.
done.
All right, people's
Done.
choice. The people say.
People.
Wait, are you putting on more hat this time?
That's right, for the people.
Interesting reversal.
It is.
Try to come up with something new. How about each time I do one, I'll take off one article of clothing. I'll start with a tie.
No, I don't think that's going to work.
You got a hat, a tie, 2 shoes, 2 socks.
That's true. You did come prepared. If you were going to do strip poker, you came prepared. That's for sure.
Anyhow, this is a crossover with Zee Garcia. And this has been on the list since the very beginning from the people. Starting at 45, last year was 69, so it's just dropped a bit. And that is Ticket to Ride Europe.
Okay.
there we
The
go.
most popular of Ticket to Rides usually for the people. I don't know if regular Ticket to Ride beat it. It might have. But on Board Game Geek, Europe is ranked higher. It is, for sure.
Okay.
Which makes no sense because it's not as good as the original. But it's still pretty good.
You don't like the changes?
Oh, I don't mind. It's a little easier, actually.
Yeah.
There's less blocking other people. There's less thrown knives. And I like the anger and anguish the original one can bring to the table.
I think this one has the same number of thrown knives. They give you Band-Aids. It's really what it is.
Yeah. I think that's probably a fair way to put it.
Yeah, yeah. That's in fact that quote is on the box.
On the box.
Same number of
Zee
knives.
Garcia.
More Band-Aids. Tom Vasel.
You said that, not me. That is your choice for 79.
Poland!
There we go.
Is greater than all, it says.
Woo!
Okay.
I reversed what I said earlier.
Fair enough. We really got to get in on these exchange rates at some point so we know what we're talking about here. But we appreciate anything. It doesn't matter what the exchange rate is. My number 78 is a lovely, charming game. That was, I would say it was on the earlier end of the kind of nature explosion in board games themes. This is Parks. Coming from Keymaster Games, which is a company, a publisher that has really carved out a unique aesthetic and place in the board gaming hobby. I mean, whether you like their games or not, you can't. Well, I guess you could argue. I don't think that you could really fault their look, their production,
It's garbage.
their aesthetic. This is gorgeous. Now, obviously,
I'm kidding.
with Parks, they kind of took the what was it, the 51 Parks? Is that what it's called?
51 Parks, a series of
the
artwork
series
or whatever.
of posters, and it's a great thing to build a game around. But it's a solid little game too. It's not the heaviest game in the world. It kind of uses that what Tom likes to call the ratchet system, where it's kind of a
That's the official name of
That's
it.
the official name, yeah. You go as far as you want down a one-way track, but you can't go backward. And if you jump ahead, you may get your first choice of something, but other people behind you are going to be able to take multiple turns, perhaps. I think that the expansions for this game have also improved that experience, but the base game itself is a lovely, welcoming game for many different types of gamers. If you want to play a little bit more strategically, you can add in some of the expansions, but just a lovely, lovely package with, I think, a great theme. And I love what Keymaster is doing. Every time they put out something, I'm going to at least pay attention to what it is, because they've really done stellar work so far. My number 78, Parks.
Thank you, Chuck Reed, for the super chat where he tells everyone to back Dice Tower Kickstarter.
That would be lovely.
Aw. Chuck Reed is the man.
Yes.
Well, he wants to see the gaming marathon. He wants us to have no sleep.
Right.
That's mean, Chuck Reed. Where am I at? 78? 78 is not the first, but it's one of the few games that has jumped up. It was 96 last year. It's 78.
Wow.
It's also in no way a new game, so I don't know here. I just kept...
Catan.
It's the way you did it this year.
I also just I grabbed some things and I guess dragged them up. I'm like, I'm undervaluing how much fun I have with this little card game.
Right.
Archaeology.
Oh.
Archaeology, the new expedition.
This did not make my top 100, but I think about it every time. It's such a good little game.
It's such a good little welcoming game. You were just talking about Parks. And what a good welcoming game that is.
This is Parks in the future.
Oh.
You're looking up those parks
Okay.
1,000 years later.
Yeah, this is. Do you
Gotcha.
think this is modern, but it's not. This is post-apocalyptic. Yeah, all the stuff you're gathering is actually our remnants now.
That's part of your house there, Mike.
Yeah.
Oh, is that me? Look at that.
Look at that.
Oh, I really like what I've done with the place.
That's my death mask. Anyway, in this one, yeah, it's again, if you can play Uno and you kind of like just card games of that type, you can play this. Not to say this is Uno, and this has certainly a little more going on, but it's a really fun set collecting game. There's a little meanness in it, but again, I think it adds to that flavor that a lot of people who enjoy games but wouldn't necessarily call themselves gamers. I think that's a word that a lot of people who like games don't throw around.
No.
We use that word.
Yes.
You know, you go up to somebody like, are you a gamer? They're like, no, I don't really like video games.
Right.
That's what most people are going to think.
That is true.
This is a good game for those folks, and I love teaching it to them. This is beautiful. It's lovely. This edition has a nice amount of extra content from the previous one. Yeah, this is pleasant. Is the best thing about it.
Phil Walker Harding, right?
Yeah, I always just
This
find
was his
myself
first,
smiling.
well, it was his second game. He made Archaeology a board game, which everyone doesn't want to play.
Right.
But this was his first game that was a bit of a hit.
Okay.
Speaking of archaeology, I just read an article that museums are no longer calling mummies mummies. They're calling them mummified remains because they say calling it a mummy dehumanizes the person who it was. But if you say mummified remains, you think about the person that it once was, while mummy kind of conjures the whole monster, ooh, la 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 thing.
Okay.
Food for the thought. Also food for the thought. Nero Gamer says that Zee's a spirit animal because of the bloody end, which makes you sound like a pretty terrible spirit animal at that point.
I influence you to
Thank you,
murder.
Neurogamer. Thank you.
My number 78 was 101 last year.
Oh, it finally broke in.
Well, it was 38 the year before that.
never mind.
Much.
I don't know. I just, again, same thing as Zee does. Sometimes they move up. And this is Thunderstone Quest.
You do like you some Thunderstone.
Wow.
This is one of those ones that I actually meant to play on the cruise and I forgot. The next convention I'll play one. I love playing the epic version of this so much, and it's just a fun thing to. It's a deck builder that you kind of forget about building a deck, and this game allows the deck building part to not matter as much.
Yeah.
Because in Thunderstone Quest, one of the rules they changed from the original one. You draw a hand of cards, you're like, oh, I got a weapon, which would be great for another character, and this is not a great hand. You can kind of take a rest action and discard some of your hand.
Okay.
And then draw back up. So you can wait till you get that really good hand. You might miss a few turns.
Sure.
But then you go to town with that incredibly buff dwarf here leading the way on the front, and the lady
Alrighty.
who has one wing on the top.
Huh.
I never said the Thunderstone artwork was amazing.
No,
It's
no.
passable.
Well, but if you compare it to like
Thunderstone.
Dominion, then it's
That's
starting
true.
to look a little
That's
better.
rude.
Gosh, I remember when Thunderstone came out, everybody was thinking, it seems to me, this is Dominion with a good theme,
Right.
with great artwork. Remember that? I
Exactly, I
mean,
do.
that was like the thing there for a hot minute.
Yep.
I haven't played Thunderstone or this spin-off in a decade, probably.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild. I am curious to hear when you try it again how it hits you. So long, after.
The People 78
Okay.
It's not Thunderstone Quest, I'll tell you that.
is
Game
new to the
sucks.
list for them, although you would not particularly consider it a new game since we were playing it as early as the beginning of last
Yeah,
year.
watch out, you sounded like Mike.
That's why I took my glasses off.
Ark Nova?
No. But it's gotten much, much more popular as the year has gone by and it came into wider circulation. The expansion was just released for it.
Marvel United Multiverse.
Meadow.
Oh.
Meadow has not been on the list. It's debuting at 78, which is pretty good.
This hasn't been on the list? Gosh, I've been playing this for like 4 years.
That's right. Yesterday's news.
Liar. Actually, I might have played this in...
We got an early copy.
We got a really
very
early
copy of it. Yeah.
I wonder what... Yeah, that's why it wasn't on the list last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, this is great, and this is, I think, one that's going to be on this list for a long time.
I think so too. I think it's got staying power. For sure.
It hits all the high points. It's nature, but it's nature people like. They like the animals. The game is a fun kind of put the stuff into different rows and columns.
It's thinky, but it's attractive. Absolutely.
Not too hard to teach. Yeah, it's a good one.
All right, that's your number 78, Meadow.
My number 77 is one of the few games on my list that is in the exact same spot that it was last year.
Which makes it technically go up.
Oh, I guess that's true, right?
Because everything gets pushed down by the inclusion of new games.
That is true.
So this fought against it like a salmon swimming upstream.
We'll go with that.
Or
yeah.
swimming in the same part of the river, despite the flowing. A bear is about to eat you. Go.
I love this analogy, Tom. This is a two-player game, an asymmetric two-player game where one person is playing this huge behemoth, the other person is playing these lovely little forest creatures that are trying to kill the behemoth.
I was about to say raptor, E-raptor or whatever, but...
Yeah, no. My number 77
It makes
is
dice towers, Tom.
Skulk
That's not it.
Hollow. Skulk Hollow.
Not E-raptor, you're right.
Yeah, E-raptors, yeah. This is a game I don't think enough people have played this one.
I haven't.
I was literally... Today, I'm rearranging the library, taking games out, putting games in, and I saw Skull Hollow, and I said, no one plays this. Why? It's such a good game.
I think it's because, enough people have not played, and it is a two-player game, so that's going to limit it a little bit. But they are coming up with a follow-up soon called Mall Peak, and I think if you add the two together, you can make it more of a multiplayer. I'm not positive about that, but I
Whoa, you
think
mean I can
that's
have
the
one
case.
big monster and another big monster?
Maybe so, right? We'd have to look. But as
I
it is,
do.
it's a lovely, like I said, asymmetric game that's card-driven, and it's got that kind of Shadow of the Colossus thing on it where this big guardian has its own board that when you are the forest creatures, you come up next to it, and then if you get onto its space, you actually go physically onto the board that represents the guardian.
Okay.
And you're attacking him or her or whatever it is, but it's body parts. So basically this arm will do a particular action, and if we disable the arm, now they can't do that action anymore. This leg will do a stomp, but if we disable that leg, it can't do the stomp anymore, and you're trying to remove all of the health if you're the forest creatures. If you're the big bad, you're trying to obviously defeat
stomp
the
these
basically.
cute creatures.
That's
It's
correct.
kind of like that game with the dragon and the three dwarves, right? That's what it sounds like.
A little, but in that game, the dwarves aren't jumping on, and they hit parts of the dragon, but here you actually jump onto the thing.
Jump onto it, and you have to move from limb to limb and onto the
Okay.
head. So
Yeah, Shadow of the Colossus or God of War, old God
that kind
of War
of a thing.
type
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. Really cool looking game, great production as well. That is 77 for me. Skulk Hollow. Thank you, Claudio.
From Romania, which
Nice.
is now better than Poland.
I don't know if
And
we
Czech Republic.
I'm pretty sure that they gave us a super chat yesterday, and I
Yeah,
don't know if we did the name right then. But
Romania's the double as best. All right, go
All
ahead.
right. My number 77 is a game that Mike introduced me to. It was 41 last year.
Okay.
So it's basically
It was
trash
41.
now.
Right, yeah.
Then you taught it to him.
Now it's like,
down
nah,
to
now I'm
77.
Yeah, I already knew it. Then Mike jumped in. This is Whale Riders
Okay.
from The Good Doctor, Reiner Knizia.
Whoop, whoop.
Whale Riders is a really neat time track ratchet style game. Kind of. Not really. Kind of. You're buying stuff that's next to your whale there at a port. And whenever you're ready to, either because, again, you want to get a jump on something ahead that no one's been to yet, or because the port starts to fill up with junk, it sort of shuts down.
Yeah.
You can move ahead to the next one. And you can be ahead of the curve as much as you want to be. Eventually you make it down to the bottom of that peninsula, and then you turn back up, buying things along the way, making sets. It's a really simple game.
Yes.
It's very straightforward, like mechanically easy to teach. You know,
yeah.
7 minutes, you're ready to go. But I really like that tempo of the game, the cadence of it, that feeling of, I can buy once more, but I think you're going to move ahead of me, and I don't like that, because you're going to have first crack at that pearl.
Right.
Whatever, you're that thing. So you have to play this game that you're wrestling with yourself a little bit. When do you get back to the top? You know, if you make it all the way back, you can sit there and buy up these end of game tiles.
Yes.
So you also don't necessarily want someone to get too far ahead, because then you're like just running to catch up while they're just like victory points. So yeah, I really like the feel of this one. I think it scales great.
Yep.
It's a looker, and it's fun. It's one of my favorite Reiner Knizia games.
Yeah.
And again, it's a modern game too. It's not
is.
something that he reworked. So really neat. Whale Riders.
Good pick.
Up the Raptors. says, thanks to Mike.
Up the irons, I think.
Up the irons. Up the rafters. I don't know where I got raptors.
I don't know what's going
Back
on.
to the Raptor again.
Thanks to Mike for introducing him to Outlive.
We may hear a little bit more about that one later.
All right, so when I make my top 100, I take the games that were already on it, sort of. I try to not to even look at them. I try to make the whole list without looking at that. But I always add in the top 10 games into the mix, at least,
Right.
from the previous year, 2023. This game did not make my top 10 or my follow-up top 10, and it's still number 77.
Wow.
Because in the last few months, this game has really shot the top for me, and also every other person on the cruise and that we run into. And this is Heat.
Oh, boy.
What? It's in your top 100 games of all time.
It's really moving up. I like this game a ton, man.
That's hot.
And I was excluded from the initial plays here at the office of this game.
Okay. Well, you know, snooze, you lose. Sorry, you were too cool. For Heat.
Anyway, I like racing games and I play a lot of them. We have a whole shelf here in the library that's dedicated to racing games.
They don't make enough of them. Oh, so that's part of the problem.
Well, they make a lot of racing
they
games.
don't make enough racing games.
They make a lot of racing games, though. But most of them are slow, ponderous affairs.
Yeah.
Slow, ponderous affair is the game.
That sounds captivating.
They're about either
follow-up to
racing
Obsession.
elephants or... Actually, but also, like, you're about to hit the curve, and we spend the next 20 minutes as everyone hits that curve.
Yep.
Heat is the fastest racing game I played in a very long time. That wasn't a flicking game.
Sure.
And it's even faster than that. It's faster than Pitch Car.
It really probably
Yeah.
is, actually. Now that you mention it, it probably
Yeah, it
is
is.
quicker than Pitch Car. Yeah.
So I'm excited also by, like, more tracks.
Yes.
I'm like,
Yes.
When
there's no
you're
way-
looking
there's
forward to
no
more
way that's
tracks, you
not
know it's a
coming,
great
right? I
racing
mean,
game.
You know
Oh, my
they're coming.
word,
Yeah.
yes.
Already know there's more cars because they have the spots in the
Yeah, that's
insert.
coming. Tracks, extra cars. Yeah.
Chuck says he played on a cruise, was bored silly, and that is the first person I have ever met who
Me
thought that.
too,
So
yeah.
that's fine. I mean, everyone has different opinions on games
Sure.
that they're wrong about. But most people have really enjoyed this one.
Absolutely.
So, Heat. Oh, that's right. Me next.
Yep. People now.
Oh, the people next. I'm sorry.
People, there you go.
Oh, wow. That's a difference.
Gosh.
That was just,
A hair, just like.
that was probably
there,
one of
there.
yours.
Yes, that's one of mine.
Look how long it was. Z has a new toupee he's trying out. The People's 77 has been on their list for 5 years. It debuted at 22, and it is slowly dropping, and I think it will be off the list next year.
Really?
Wow.
Because, well, once you hear the name, I bet you agree. Rising Sun.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Oh, yes. I'm like, which one is that?
That's not a good sign. Because,
You think so?
well, Blood Rage is the perennial huzzah.
yes, that one's
Yeah.
not going anywhere.
I'm
sure.
just going to move up for a while, maybe even stay for a while.
Yeah.
Rising Sun is, I think, the least favorite of the three. It's
Yes, it is your favorite.
it's
okay
my
to
favorite
say
of the
that.
three.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I personally like it the best, but it's, I think, the hardest one to learn. The combat's a little wonky if
combat,
you've never
yeah.
played it before. It's still beautiful and all, but I'm telling you, I watched the games get played on the cruise. You know, so even now, I think this was checked out once, but the other ones were checked out more.
Yeah.
This is the most esoteric of the three.
I agree. Yeah, it's most
know.
obtuse.
Yeah, it's the most obtuse. It's the weirdest one. It's
Yep.
the one that most bucks concepts that you think would be established.
That's true.
Like there's combat. We're gonna bid now. It's like, wait, what's happening?
Yeah.
Like it's just
The
okay.
negotiation's a little bit weird.
Well, I like all that stuff, and it's still in the
that's-
People's
yeah.
Choice Top 100.
It is,
So it's still
absolutely.
very popular and all.
Yep.
I just wonder if it will drop out. That's all. But it's still there. So that's 5 years straight. Pretty impressive.
Indeed. My number 76 has dropped a little bit, and it's kind of a shame. This is another one that I struggled to get to the table, but I've had such great experiences with it. Do you like the movie Alien, the first one?
No.
Do you?
Yeah.
It's too scary for me.
My number 76 is Alien, the board game, but technically it's called Nemesis. So the
Oh, I was
idea...
gonna be like, Alien, the board game is in your
There
top
is-
100?
yeah, no, no.
Weird.
Nemesis is a very cinematic game, I feel. It's an experiential game. It's a
Which one, by the way?
fragile game.
Is this Nemesis or Nemesis Lockdown?
No, Nemesis. I've played Lockdown twice, but I've played Nemesis a lot more than I've played Lockdown. They're somewhat interchangeable. I mean,
Okay.
they both give you similar experiences, but Nemesis is one of those games where you have to be prepared at the beginning of the game for it to be either an incredibly exciting and raucous experience, and you also have to be prepared to die within the first couple of rounds. Because things could happen like that. It's not on rails at all. I mean, you're pulling stuff out of a bag. Some people have come up with house rules to make it so that the queen can't come out in the first round or two. Sure, you could do those types of things.
Yes, you should.
You could, and sure, why not?
That's not cinematic. That's the thing.
It's not. That's the thing. Is I kind of like that. I'm not sure what's happening here.
It's kind of wreck the game, though.
It can, and
I don't get that.
For that, you can just reboot it, and you've already got it all set up.
I'm not forgiving of that kind of stuff. I'm just not. You know what I mean?
He is not forgiving. The game is not forgiving.
The highs are so high that I'm willing to overlook it. I mean, obviously it's dropped a bit, but it's still in my top 100 because I will tell you this. The ratio of good games to bad games is very high. I've only had one stinker of a game.
Okay.
So it does not happen. It's not
Probably.
like a Betrayal where, it's like, oh, are we going to get one of those terrible haunts?
Broken,
You know what I mean?
kind
It's
of a
not like
broken
that.
finish, yeah.
It's more often good than bad, but you just have to be aware for it. It's a very thematic game, very, very cinematic. Number 76, Nemesis.
My number 76 was not on my list last year. I can't find it in this data. Again, it's not new. It's near and far.
Wow.
And I don't know why.
Wait, but you put near and far up. I thought you liked the new one a lot, but this is better.
This is better.
It is better.
This is better than Above and Noah.
Now or
Never. Above and Below, not on my list, by the way. I don't think the first one was that good. It felt like a Euro game.
Yeah.
A fairly small one, too.
Right.
With, some writing kind of off to the side, I'm tired of Euro stuff. Read a little bit to me. That's what it feels like.
Tell me a story, Grandpa.
It's tangential, yeah.
It really is. And then Near and Far came along and said, you know what I'm going to do is weave these little chapters that are largely unrelated into the story.
Right.
I'm going to, do this map thing that Gloomhaven is going to straight up steal from me.
Is.
Right here. This game has it all. It's lightning fast.
Yes.
Especially if you play right after Now or Never.
Right.
You're like, oh my gosh, it's ending. My 10s are flying out. This is great. This is a really, really fun, story-driven game. A lot of neat stuff going on. Lots of ways to play right in the box.
Yeah.
Beautiful, of course. Near and Far is a Red Raven classic.
You know how I know that the story elements are good, even though, like you said, it's not an overarching story?
Because he tells you?
No, because every time I play this game, everybody's always races to the story spots.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Everyone wants to get to those story spots.
Yeah.
That's a good sign, right?
Right.
If they were garbage, you wouldn't care.
Also, what's your opinion on the Red King?
Not a fan.
Red King is a jerk.
That's right.
Not
He came
fan.
back for me. Yeah, I remember that. I still remember that.
The
Playing
Red
that with
King.
Luke. Playing that with Luke. Yeah. All right.
All right, my number 76 has been on my list for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It was 92 last year, so it's moved up a bit. And this is a bag builder that is not solo.
Okay.
Or Leons. I really
You
like
almost
this
had it. You
game.
have to drop that S at the end.
I'll say it the way I want.
Or lean.
Oh, you didn't say
You can
or.
say whatever. Or lean. Yeah, I got it.
I thought you said, or I could lean. Okay. Anyhow, despite the artwork,
Yeeks.
I do like this game. I've seen some people recently call this a worker placement game. It is not.
It's a bag
It is
builder.
not. You pull out these things from a bag and you put them on spots, but you're paying, they're essentially resources you're paying to do the spot.
Yeah.
Not a worker placement game.
Okay.
But it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of cool stuff going on in here. It is a generic theme as all get out, but it's very
gosh.
enjoyable.
I've only played this once, and I want to say I think it was cooperative, which I guess is an expansion.
It is.
It
yes.
is.
Yeah, I did that once at PAX.
Okay.
I don't know, 4 years ago. It's cool.
All right, the People's Choice has been on the list for 8 years, and it was once number 3. It debuted on the list at 77, and last year was also 77, now moved up to 76.
Who's the designer?
Vlada Cavato.
Through the Ages?
Nope.
Galaxy Trucker?
Nope. Think
Codenames?
smaller. Codenames, that's right. Codenames.
Oh, okay.
I think we're out of the era of Codenames being uber popular
Yeah,
because
sure.
and I think you can tell that by the fact that in the last year there was not a new Codenames coming out.
Oh, that's true.
Although very soon they're about to release the Codenames app, which I thought was one of the best apps I've ever seen.
Interesting.
They showed it to me at Gen Con. I was really impressed with it.
Wow, okay.
I didn't want to be. I didn't even want to see it. They're like, sure, I don't look at apps. And they're like, I somehow ended up playing it for a while. But it has like puzzles and things, like daily challenges.
Oh, that's cool.
Like they're like, with a word and 3, and you're trying to figure that out. Man, it was really cool. I liked it a lot. So it might even be out now for all I know. But I remember, I thought they said like February maybe. That's what I thought they told
I'll
me.
jump on that.
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
But
make it my app
Codenames
of the day.
itself, it's a classic party game.
Yeah.
And a lot of fun, so I can see why it's still under people's choice list and went up. I think it's going to sit around here for a few years at least.
What could they do to put out another one in this series? What would you think?
All right, so what have they done so far? They've done Marvel,
Well,
Disney.
not theme, just like change it up, because they did Codenames and then Codenames Pictures. I'm like, oh, okay, sure, pictures instead of words.
Sure.
And then Duet was the other shake-up.
was the other one. That was
The rest of them are just Codenames, but the words are from like the Lord of the Rings or something.
Sold names. That's a sold
Codenames Legacy.
Codenames Legacy, yeah.
You're still using a clue from the first round. You're like, I'm so tired of this clue.
Yeah.
It keeps popping up.
I don't know, I wonder,
Yeah.
Like Codenames Adventures,
Okay.
where you're going through a dungeon.
Right.
You have to like guess the right word to open the next corridor.
Oh.
Some garbage.
Rogue-like names.
Yeah,
All right.
roguelike Codenames, that's it.
Anyway, that's the people's choice. Number 76, Codenames. I could definitely see a Codenames the Dice game.
Codenames the Dice game.
Yeah, that'd be interesting, right? My number 75 is a game that was off the list last year, but was on the list the year before, so it's kind of gone off and on. And I think it's going to stay on for a bit, and it may even go up because it is a classic older game that has been re-themed from the great Dr. Reiner Knizia. This is Nightmare Productions, or I had it on my list as Dream Factory a couple of years ago. It's the same exact game. This is a fantastic closed economy auction game where you are trying to make movies. In this theme, you're trying to make horror movies.
Right. With like vampires and mummified remains.
With the mummified remains. That is correct. The mummified remains. Got to get those.
You're welcome for letting that,
Thanks,
that
Tom.
come up from earlier in the episode.
Indeed.
You guys have learned nothing.
But this publisher is a new publisher, Trick or Treat Games, that they're doing some original stuff, and they're also revamping some older games into these kind of horror themes. And they did a nice job with this. It works. Because you were making movies before, you still are now. They're just horror movies, right?
Yeah, no, that's good. It's a lateral move. That's the way to do it.
It still works. The idea is that you're generally trying to, pardon me, you're trying to auction for these tiles, actors, directors, sound effects, whatever, and you've got particular movie strips that you're putting these on. And again, what I like is that whatever you spend for an auction is going to be split as evenly as you can amongst the other people that are playing. And so one of my favorite things to do in this game is to try to talk, for something that I have no interest in, try to bid up and talk up because I want their money, right? It's like, I don't really care about this knife.
Okay, Mike.
I know you want this
You
knife.
don't have to play the game like that.
No, but it's a great thing to do.
So that's how you do it, okay?
Because
you talk
then
people into spending
that
money.
money is mine, and you've got this rusty knife now you got to deal with.
Yeah.
I got your
Enjoy
cash.
the tetanus shot. I'm going to go get a burger.
You've got this pen knife. So, yeah, it's a really, really good game.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm going to be able to play it more because you've got this new spruced up edition that other people can play too. They have access to it. 75, Nightmare Productions.
This was a good reprinting.
Yeah.
Like a smart reprinting.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, my number 75 is a game I really wish I could play more of, but it's a big one. It's a story sort of game. It is Detective City of Angels. Detective City of Angels is a lovely production from Van Ryder Games, a very smart game. It is a whodunit, basically, with a few different ways you can play, but the main way to play is to have all the players competitively trying to solve a whodunit, and then one player acting as the
chisel.
I kind of think of it as like a dungeon master, really. It is. The chisel is the official name, but they're kind of being a dungeon master. You're sort of running the game for people.
You are.
And you are when they pose a question to a character in the game, you're the one who gives an answer to that. A pre-written answer, but you choose if it's a good answer, a not so good answer, kind of a misleading thing.
Yeah.
And so I like that technically you can win as the chisel, but I love the feeling of this player's not doing so well, they're not really understanding the game, I'm going to go a little easier on them as the chisel. Oh, this player over here is keeps trying weird stuff, maybe I'll try to bluff him a little bit. How am I giving you a bad answer or not? Again, it gives me that RPG Dungeon Master kind of feel.
Yeah.
But the story, the writing, the artwork, the feel of the game is steeped in that theme. It just works. It's beautiful. There's a bunch of cases out there that you can play for this, both in the box and then expansions they've done. This is a lovely, big production that just kind of wraps you up in its world and its vibe. Really love it. Detective City of Angels, 75 for me.
All right, my number 75 has been on the list for 4 years. This is a Dice Tower Essential, and it's the prettiest of the Dice Tower Essentials, and that is Aquatica. Aquatica is a really great game, which currently, unfortunately, I think is out of print. That may not last. We'll see. But man, it's one of my favorite covers, which was unfortunately lost in the best cover competition due to travesty of bad voting. It is a fun game too because it does one of my favorite mechanisms, which is handful of cards, play one.
Yep.
Can't play that again until you pick them all up.
Yes.
Great.
The ratchet, they call it.
That's not called the ratchet. That's called the
magnet.
Also, it has a really neat thing where when you get these locations, you can buff them up, push them down, and get special abilities off of them. This game feels fresh and original, even now, 4 years after it came out.
I agree.
Yeah.
And also has some cool pieces, beautiful artwork. It's just a lot of fun. That is Aquatica. Your number 75
All right. Peoples.
is also, just like Zee's game, about murder. This one's been on the list for 7 years, started at 72. Last year was at 48, so it's dropped a bit, but still one of people's favorite party games, Deception.
Murder.
Murder.
In Hong Kong.
In Hong Kong. Doesn't happen pretty much anywhere else in this game. It's always in Hong Kong.
Ooh, code names, Murder in Hong Kong.
I love it. I love it.
You know what? You're brilliant. Let me write that down.
Are you mocking me right now? Mocking 3.
Zee Garcia. Mike DiLisio. Roy Kennedy.
No, you messed up. Sorry.
Oh, what was the third one?
Vasel. Yeah. You're close. You're close.
Foiled. I didn't even pick myself. Okay.
Classic blunder.
The classic Codenames blunder. That's all I teach people to do. Get we're going to practice here. Unknown 10.
That's brilliant.
And then we see how they do it.
Yeah.
As soon as they touch a card, I'm like, no.
Nope.
That was a spy. We lost the game.
Yeah, you messed up.
Deception, Murder in Hong Kong. I just saw people playing this on the cruise where one person was, again, they were being the chisel. Not the chisel, but they're what are they? They're the...
Someone who's giving the information.
Who are you?
The investigative.
CSI.
Forensic scientist,
Forensic
maybe?
scientist.
Yeah.
And they're giving out clues, but they can't talk. They can only put things out. And the game is not that. The game is about both the murderer and his accomplice, if you're playing with other people, just sliding the blame to someone who's just suspicious enough and unfortunately put out a clue close enough to possibly be the murderer.
Yeah, that's it.
Which is great.
Yep.
So, lots of fun. Deception, Murder in Hong Kong. We'll talk about it later on.
Yep.
100% on some.
My number 74 is a cooperative game based off of a young adult book IP that I know that Zee just played on the cruise. As a matter of fact.
Well, there's only one game this could be because there's not that many cooperative games based on young adult
That's
series.
correct. My number 74 is Hunger Games. No, my number 74 is The Reckoners. This is a big, lavish production with game trays. Just when you think you've pulled the last game tray out of the box, there's about 15 other game trays in that box. It is, again, it's kind of over the top for what is a relatively simple cooperative game.
But hard.
But hard. It is very difficult, although there are plenty
You consider
of ways
it to be hard to
mitigate.
win, you mean?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
It can
Interesting. I
be.
thought it was supposed to be one of the easier ones. That seems to me to be one of those complaints that people complain A little
Here's
too
the
easy.
thing.
About the Reckoners?
I think
Yeah.
some people do, and I think it's because they're better at games than I am, because I never found this
Who's
easy.
better at games than you, Mike?
Well,
Nobody. That's who.
Well, let's go with this false
Nobody.
modesty
All
here.
right, you're the best, Mike.
Well, yeah.
All
Yeah.
round. What did you think of it? I need to know.
Yeah, I liked it. I think.
Did you play with the expansion?
No.
Okay, good, because that would
Here's
have
the
been too
thing that I
much.
thought was weird. I played at 3, and I thought to myself, this would be better with fewer.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I've
Because
actually
it's
played it
so-
at 2. It's really nice at 2.
Yeah, it's hard at 3 to be involved, I guess.
Yeah.
I find it hard to roll the dice and then be like, I don't know what do I do? Which part am I taking care of?
Yeah.
And then you program the dice.
Yes.
And when you're getting to triggering it, you go, oh, I had saved a die to take that guy out, but you wiped everyone out. Okay.
To me, that's part of it.
You like that part.
I do,
I
because
thought that programming was a little like, I liked it, but
yeah, I think that's something that you need to kind of work out with the team, especially the first time you play it. I think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
If in repeat plays, you kind of get into that little bit of a groove, and you kind of figure out, okay, if I was kind of counting on this for that, I want to have some flexibility to do other things. Because
Sure.
a lot of times those dice can do multiple things. So. Yeah, I mean, this actually, I hadn't read the books before, so it wasn't the IP that got me into it. I did end up reading the first book. But I like cooperative games in general, and I thought this one took a pretty fresh approach to it. So it did fall a bit, I believe. It fell quite a bit, number 20, down 24. Will it stay on my list? I don't know. I've played a lot more cooperative games since this first came on my list, but I still have a bit of affection for it.
it really felt like Marvel United, which unfortunately suffers from that comparison.
It does.
I think.
Yeah.
You're right.
You
it is
are
a lot
right.
like Marvel United.
You're right. And Marvel United is better.
Yeah. I liked it though, and I think I might.
Spoiler alert, Marvel United, Mike's top 1 through 73, somewhere.
Oh, sorry, I blew it.
I'm gonna try. I think reading these. I might check them out, like from Libby or something, and give
I
it a go.
really like these books.
Yeah? The
You
first
could.
Yeah, but Brandon Sanderson is like your main squeeze.
Yes, it's so true.
Can't believe you admitted to that. Okay.
Listen, when the world ends, I rescue my wife, my children, and Brandon Sanderson,
Okay.
and Roy,
Then Roy. Okay.
and Chris simultaneously.
Okay.
Z your way down the list.
Then the shut up and sit down guys. gotta keep
You got got.
keep board game criticism alive.
got-
Then Dr. Knizia. Come on, guys. I'll get to you. I'll get to you. All right.
The pizza guy.
Oh, shut up and sit down, guys. I love it.
Anyway,
Oh my
back to
god.
Brandon. This book, it's a trilogy. You could read the first one and stop in a sense. I mean, it
You can do
actually
whatever you want, technically.
Yeah.
no, but I mean the first one. There's a more complete story, but the first one stands alone as a pretty good
It
novel.
does, yeah.
Where was I? What's
Sorry.
happening?
I got confused about my
74.
You know, people have that list of you're allowed to cheat on your wife with type of nonsense. I got a list of people I will save in case
Okay.
there's a.
Brandon Sanderson, yeah. And squeeze.
Yikes.
My number 74 is a little game called Fallout Shelter. Fallout Shelter is a tiny little worker placement game based on the video game, the app, really,
Yeah.
Fallout Shelter. And it's an unassuming little thing. Tiny little, it comes in like a lunchbox. It's a tin. And it's, again, a very unassuming looking game. One that you'd think is, gosh, it's going to be a goofy little throwaway, a cash grab, a little nothing. of a
We
game.
all thought that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, didn't have much expectation
From
for it.
Fantasy Flight Games, so you're like, okay, cool, but it's not like they haven't done that before. You know, they have plenty of games that aren't necessarily that interesting or grandiose or engaging. This was a big surprise, and ended up being a really engaging game, one that's fun, one that's a really neat kind of worker placement game. Cool theme in it, great artwork in it, some neat concepts and ideas. I just played this, gosh, where was it? I know I played it this year at one of our events. And again, I'm like, this is so neat.
Yeah, it
So
is a cool-
fun.
it's a cool little
Taught it,
game.
enjoyed it, had a great time with it. Fallout Shelter is one not to dismiss if you think, either if you weren't like a big fan of the video game or whatever, or if you think, oh, this is going to be a little silly cash grab.
Mm-hmm.
This is a worker placement game that is not something that's going to float away. This is neat. I think you should give it a go. Fallout Shelter, 74 for me.
All right.
All right, so my number 74 is a much bigger game. In fact, the company who makes these games, I tend to think they overproduce their games.
Okay.
And this is the only one of their games that's made my list. When I first played it, I thought, I think there's too much here, but at multiple playings, I enjoy it more. It has the ratchet mechanism, which I love, in the first half of each round.
Ratchet and Clank.
And the second half is area control, and also it's a fun theme, and that is Wonderland's War.
Oh, wow. Okay.
This one is getting a lot of buzz. This one is one of those ones that's growing. It's following the scythe pattern, if that makes sense. The more people play it, they talk about it, and everyone's like, wow, they are overwhelmed with look at the miniatures, look at the poker chips. But it's actually a really fun game.
Yeah, that's true.
So you're right. It has three mechanisms like the ratchet mechanism, bag pulling, pulling stuff from a bag, and then area control.
Yeah.
Or area majority. And it's neat. Great art, doesn't hurt. Just, it's fun across the board.
Special powers.
Oh,
yeah.
Asymmetrical. And it's could be the tiniest bit long every once in a while, I think.
Yeah, that's the
But
biggest
man, I like it
downside.
so much that I don't care. I'm putting it on my top 100 anyway.
My
It's
goodness.
new to the list this year, Wonderland's War.
All right.
All right.
What about the people?
Yeah, what did the
people.
people? Give me an interesting one. What did the people
What
say?
about the people?
The people also chose a gigantic game,
Okay.
which will show up much later on Mike's list. And I saw him teach this. This is the game that if you want to learn it at one of our conventions, people are like, I want to learn this game. And I'll be like, huh? And they'll be like, where's Mike? And that's Dwellings of Elder
I
Vale.
did.
Oh,
teach this
I
on
thought
the
you were going to
cruise,
say
yeah.
that unsettled one.
No, no one asked me about that. Dwellings of Elder Vale, though, is still very popular.
It is.
There's not. We talk about this here because we have tons of big giant games in the Dice Tower library. Most of them don't get checked out. This one does.
It does.
It's getting checked out. People have a lot of fun with it. It has big miniatures, but that's not really the focus of the game.
It's really not.
Focus of the game is area control and/or
Putting hats on meeples that make them look like houses.
Basically, your workers become dwellings. Yes.
that's actually still one of my. I'm still impressed by that.
It's so
neat.
good.
It's neat because mechanically it also means you have fewer workers.
Right.
So you're incentivized to build them,
Right.
of course, because that's really where you're going to get most of your points. But every time you do it, you are shrinking your worker pool. So
Right.
it's.
I like to think of it as me taking a worker and literally tossing them into cement,
Okay. Okay.
drowning them in cement,
Sure.
and then pouring the foundation for my new dwelling in Elder Vale, which is lovely this time of year.
That makes sense.
Well,
I
if you
wonder-
remember the shed at the old studio.
Oh boy.
The walls were made from
Been a while
bodies.
since you've seen Derek, right?
Yeah.
Hey.
It's got dark. Deception, murder in Hong Kong. You'll never prove it, Copper. Move on.
All right. Well, here we go. Here's where
This is the one we've been waiting
this
for.
is where my Cult of the New banner gets
The
worn
next
proudly.
73 all came out in 2022.
Yeah.
This is a game that is brand new, and it has just shot up in my experience. It's almost
Ooh.
like
Are there any
it's-
Vikings in it?
there are. I don't think there are any Vikings
Any
in it.
seesaws in it?
No, there are not. But do you know what there are in it?
We're still waiting for that
There
one.
are some polecats in it.
What's a polecat?
This is Lands
Skunk.
of Galzer. My number. They are polecats, aren't they called that?
Yes. Oh my gosh, Mike.
My
I
number
am
73.
playing this weekend.
Yeah.
You all better not be lying about this, or there will be some words said in numbers 50 through 41.
If
I'm going to go ahead
I,
and hedge my bets and say it's terrible, Tom, just in case.
just in case.
Fair
yeah.
enough. Then I'll be like, oh, Z was
if
right.
I had played this more before I did my top 10, it would have been higher on my top 10. I like this more the more I play it. And it's a game that does everything it does so well. It is a storytelling game with good writing, but it's not an overarching story. It's a story that can kind of go anywhere. It has a beautiful production. It has, hands down and not even close, the best save system and put it away quickly, bring it back up quickly system I've ever seen. It is brilliant the way they handle it. The app is really a website that is very well done. If you're freaked out about websites or apps, you can download it to your computer and it's there forever. You never have to worry about it. It's not going anywhere as long as you've got that computer. It is a game that plays quickly, too. One of these types of games, you can play through a whole session of it in 45 minutes.
Yeah.
You can go longer if you have a larger player count, but if you're playing it solo or 2 players, you can zip through in this, and if you still want to keep playing, you just keep playing. If you don't, you spend 5 minutes to put it away. Brilliant, brilliant game. But again, you have to know what you're coming into. This is story 95% and
Is he
mechanisms.
reading the comment? I feel
I
like
know that was weird. That person
that was
said
really
when
weird.
you
He
looked
just
at it.
said,
You have to know what you were walking into. It is storytelling. It is not a strategy game.
It is 95% story, 5% mechanisms. You are rolling dice checks. That's really it. That's all you're doing. But it's
you're really
still
selling this to me,
is
and
a
I'm not being
compelling
sarcastic. I
Yeah.
like that stuff.
I think you'll like it.
Yeah.
I like Tales of Arabian Nights. It sounds like a more fun version of it.
Yes,
feeling if you
yes.
play it with your
Actually, if you
kids,
go
I
into
think
it
you'll have
from
a
that
really good
point of
time.
view, Tom, then yes, I think you will like it because it is very Tales of Arabian Nights without the sort of, I don't know, I hate to say it, but that game's kind of like, well, it outstays its welcome by quite a bit, but it's also the kind of stupidity of it, like the slap a beggar and then something happens and
I do like slapping beggars.
you can slap animals in this. You can get into some fights.
You really can.
But the dice system, Mike, I'll tell you, yeah, it's like basically you have one mechanism in this game. It's a really good mechanism.
It is very good.
And the tags, where at the beginning there, you read a story and they're like, if you have the slap tag, and you check all your cards. I do. You click yes, and then they give you an option, which is like all glowing stars that you wouldn't have had if you didn't have that tag.
Okay, you must have said this before. I just realized this is an app game.
It's an app. Mike said it's a website.
You go on the
I stopped
website.
listening as soon as he says the name of the game. But all right,
That's fair. That's probably true.
It's a website, and yeah, it's really good. It's very well done.
You'll love it, okay? I'm back in. All right, my number 68 is not a game I'm going to be talking about today.
73. Why do we have
I know.
68?
I was just mentioning that my 68 is a great game.
Okay.
Wait till next time. You're going to love it, but we're not there yet. 73, though, has been mentioned already in this top 10
By the people.
by the people.
Deception, Murder, and Hong Kong.
Yes, that's weird. Yes.
Wow.
Well, I knew it was on your list. That's somewhere. That's the first one I saw. And you
Okay.
want to pick code names. You don't like Rising Sun.
I like Rising Sun. Not top 100 like it.
Right, because you always criticize me when I mention it.
Yeah,
Thank you
stop
for the
talking
super
about
chat,
it.
and thank you for the kind words, Kayla.
Who said it?
Kayla.
Kayla. Thank you, Kayla. Oh, she loves point salad.
Mike
Oh, wait,
is
she
so
said
good
something-
at explaining
No,
the
you don't need to
feel
read that.
of a
That's
game.
not
It's
important.
true. Mike is so good at explaining the feel of a game.
The round mouth feel.
Yeah. That's a 10.
That's a 10.
The 73, Deception, Murder in Hong Kong. We already talked about it. It's great.
It is great.
It's about murder. That's all you need.
That's all you need to know.
Okay? Plus, some people would leave behind strange clues like ice. Actually, which of the two? I always forget. Which of the two lines is the murder weapon and
I
which
can
one's the
never
clue?
remember.
The only ones are the murder weapon.
Okay, so the top there, maybe they got killed with like a statue, like a bust.
Right.
And the thing they left behind as a clue is ice. Or like a table lamp that they brought with them.
Sure.
This game doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but
No.
it's a blast. It's fun.
It's fun.
All right.
All right, my number 73 is a game that only I really like. Other people enjoy it.
Yeah, that's
But-
what the designer has publicly said.
It was 89 last year, so it's gone up. It's the third year it's been on the list. I will only play it with 2 because it takes a while, and I just got some markers that upgrade the worst annoying component in this game,
Okay.
and that's Dominations.
Oh my goodness. You
I
love this
really
game.
like Dominations. It is a civ building game, but it's more of a card tableau building game.
Is that when you played with me with the triangles?
Triangle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why I played that with you. I should have known
No,
you
maybe
would like
this isn't
it.
it. No, this is not it. What's the other game you like that has a bunch of triangles and cards?
I think it's
Little
this
square
one.
cards.
Sure it's not this?
It's this one.
This one.
Yeah, it's little square cards too.
Yeah, there's not in this picture. So you build this, you can buy all sorts of technologies. You build out your cities on this map. You put out some wonders of the world. There's a lot going on. They also released 5 expansions for it.
They did.
And then when I got this Kickstarter, it came with more expansions, which I promptly all ignored and opened it up just to get those little wooden pieces out of the box.
Yes.
Because this game has terrible little cardboard pieces for trackers.
Really bad.
The game I'm thinking of is the one where you begin as like a wretched or like a...
Oh, you're talking about Vindication.
That's it.
I don't like that game anymore. Dominations is where it's at.
Okay, got it.
But be warned going into this, there is this is, if I ever do like top 10, when we will do a top 10 terrible games played with someone with AP, that'd be a fun list sometime. This could be on the list because you'd be like, what tech would you like to do? Here's a chart. And I go, you just got to pick a color and go with that color. You can't put too much thought into it, but it is a lot of fun. So dominations. All right, you people, you have a wonderful pick for number 73. It was 104 last year, 99 the year before that, so it's come to shooting up. And this one definitely is getting buzz. It's younger sibling that's only for 1 or 2 players. I've not played. And that's It's a Wonderful World.
Oh,
Wait, what game is there for 1 or 2 players?
It's a Wonderful Kingdom.
That's a 2-player only game?
It's a 1 or 2 player game.
Oh.
It's an I split you choose game.
That's why I have not played that one yet. It's a Wonderful World is a nice kind of modernized version of Race for the Galaxy. Not as good as that great game, but It's a Wonderful World works really well. You're getting cards to give you resource. You buy these cards for resources, then give you more resources, let you buy more cards.
Yeah.
It has a nice progression through the game, and it's not particularly difficult. All the cards to give you, there's not many special abilities. It's pretty straightforward. I do like its look on the dystopian future. It's not as grim as
Not
the
quite,
grim dark stuff you like.
Well, it's not dystopian.
No, right. It's just
It's
futuristic.
just futuristic.
Dystopian can look nice, but be unpleasant behind the scenes.
I don't think this. Yes, but I don't think this is a dystopian future, right? It's also not utopian. It's just the future. Those are the two extremes.
It's peeing future.
Yeah. Yeah. This is what I like to do in the future. I would love to do that. There is a bathroom near here somewhere.
Dumb. I apologize, folks. That's we've broken.
I'm a peeing, you're a peeing. We're all a peeing. 73.
It's a decent game, 73. Move on, Roy.
All right.
My number 72 is a game that I'm afraid to even mention the name of it because
Here we go.
get ready.
Mike DiLisio.
This is a game that has now become a meme associated with me, unfortunately, because it's a fine game and you should play the game, even though it was my most anticipated game. Or is that what you were surprising?
Biggest surprise.
This game surprises me every time I play it. My number 72 is Furnace.
You get to play the expansion.
I didn't. Robert was going to try to get me to play with the expansion. I never got a chance to play it. I'm very interested in it.
If you think about this cover here, see all those strings?
Yeah.
That Furnace cover is actually a large balloon float with different people pulling it down the street. Go back to the cover, Roy.
Let's see, yeah.
Bring that cover up. See? You're walking down the street, and
it's like
see
up.
those strings? You know there's a guy in the end of each of those strings.
There's definitely not power line.
What are you talking about?
Okay, I don't know why I thought that. Go
Also,
back to talk
I've
about
never
the game.
noticed that where his heart is. It's kind of where there's a splash of red color there.
Yeah.
It's a
Makes you
deep
think,
cover. This
doesn't it?
cover makes
Home
me
is where
think.
the heart is.
I might put this on my most anticipated list.
Or surprised. So, Furnace is a lightning fast game that is really in 2 phases, and I like both phases. I actually probably prefer the first phase even a little bit more, where what you're doing is there's a market of cards, and you've got these little wooden discs that have, I think, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you are placing those discs on these cards. The higher number is going to be the one that gets the card. Is that right? Or is it 1? Why am I
You
getting
win
it
the
backwards?
card.
Yes. But the other numbers are going to give you a certain number of resources or a conversion of resources that are at the top of the card. So sometimes you're trying to make people think that you want the card, but really what you want is 3 of those resources that are on the top.
Yeah.
And so you try to get someone to sneak in underneath you, so that they'll take the card, but you get what you really want, which is a step on the top. Really smart system, very fast. The second half is a pure engine building game where you're just tapping cards, triggering this. This gives me, 3 iron. I can convert that iron to oil barrels. I can do these oil barrels to points. Very much like that, where you're just kind of running through this engine, and every round your engine gets larger. You're flipping over cards to make them more advanced. Very, very quick to teach, very quick to play. A pure game with 2 distinct phases. I like Furnace a whole lot.
Furnace is pretty good. My number 72. Gosh, my number 72 has been in my top 10 in the past, but it's a party game. And to be fair, it was in my top 10 a long time ago.
Okay.
It's a game that I've talked about a whole bunch. and it's sort of one of those that I get, like, Tom also, again, kind of, this is like my game, this compatibility. Compatibility is one of those games that I've talked about forever. I still own it. I still like compatibility.
I still think we should make our own custom compatibility.
You've mentioned that, yeah.
And sell it illegally.
I didn't say that. We'll call it
Okay.
precipitous.
Precipitous.
Yes. Okay. Okay, I like that. Let's do it. Let's cut their knees out from underneath them.
They don't even make this game anymore.
They don't?
I don't know. I just made that up, but they probably don't.
Let's call it compatible. Code names, compatibility.
So we get
Anyway,
furnace
we can
game.
get jointly sued.
Yeah, let's get sued twice. This one is just you get a word, you have a partner, and you're picking cards rather that you can think of as in association with that word.
Boo.
Moo or boo?
Boo from PAX Ghost. I don't know. I was supposed to say boo.
Oh, boo. Okay. Well, when I think of boo, I might take like the card that's fully white. There's a clown in there. I might take that one.
Okay.
There's a balloon.
I do. Like someone pointed out, I do like that quote on the cover. Arguably the best game of the decade.
Yeah, you can argue that. You'll lose that argument.
I like that a lot.
You can argue that.
I think we can put that on any game
Anything,
cover.
yeah, I mean,
Arguably, this is my
Arguably.
favorite game ever. Compatibility is really fun. I love that matching with other people, trying to get in your head. I love the discussion afterwards. So as you reveal things, and you're like, "What were you thinking?"
You know, there's a lot of these games. We just played one recently where we had to put some things in order. I like going through that deck.
Yeah.
There's nothing like it. I mean, you learn the deck pretty quickly. You're like, I know there's a card in here that's all black.
Let me find it.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
the two old ladies laughing. Let me find it. I like that. you know?
I can tell you most of I remember there's a clown.
There's a
There's a
clown.
lady on the phone or picking
Yes.
up the phone. There's just so many.
There's the lady
Yeah.
going like this with all the vegetables in the kitchen.
Oh, yeah, the Julia Childs type thing.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Anyway, yeah, this is neat. I've actually seen this again. I forget where. And I looked at the back of it, and the decks looked different. And I almost bought it again.
Oh,
Just because the decks were different. Or
Right.
seemed different.
yeah.
I'm like, oh, that means I could have
But
alternate
that's what I'm saying. We
decks.
could make a custom one for the Dice Tower library
Yeah.
with our own custom decks in it.
And sell it. Yeah, I
Put
like
his
that.
face on one.
Whose face? That face right there?
Yes, sir.
I'm in, Tom. I'll fund it.
It will fund.
It'll actually be just,
instantly.
the whole deck is actually just Mike making faces.
Different faces. That's right.
It's called The Many Faces of Mike DiLisio.
Yeah, pencil.
Cool.
Compatible.
Code names.
Shocked.
All right. My number 272 has been on my list for 12 years. Although it's been around much longer than that underneath a different name called Union Pacific. And that is Airlines
Okay.
Europe.
Okay.
Airlines Europe, really solid cover.
Yeah, it's great. Clemens Franz is vigorously taking notes.
That's right.
That's what a woman looks like.
So, no, but it's a great game about kind of like stock market. Each turn, you are either growing the different airplane routes on the board, or you are collecting stock in one of those. And you have to kind of decide which one you need to do, because you collect a lot of the white airplane stock, but if it doesn't grow, it's garbage. It's fun, it's simple, and it also scales really well.
I never played this one. I played Union Pacific, but I never did play this
I'm trying to
one.
remember if I played this one. I don't remember.
Your number 72 has been made for every holiday,
I know what it is.
and they just, I think tomorrow we're talking about we just got a new version of it called a different name completely yesterday from Asmodee.
Patchwork?
That is Patchwork.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It was 71 last year, and the year before that was 104, then 87, 77, 37, 30. So it's, for a while, Patchwork was the polyomino game.
It was,
If you like
yes.
polyomino, people are like, Patchwork, what else?
That's it. Yeah, that was it.
Now there's a lot of them. It still is, like, probably the strongest two-player one.
Blows my mind that Patchwork is in the top 100 games on BGG.
No.
I know that again, and this is obviously
like it
it's your
fine. I just don't like it that
72,
much.
So I guess it's got every right to be in there, but it blows my mind personally. I'm like, this is an all right little tile laying game.
I think
Weird that it's in the top 100 games of all time.
I think it's more than a tile laying game, though. I really do think
button snatching
I think
game.
the economy is what really sets us apart.
Yeah,
I really do.
yeah.
I think that's smart. Now, again, does it feel as innovative as it did when it first came out? No, there's a million polyomino games out there, but there weren't when it came out.
Right.
And one that incorporated that kind of neat little economic aspect. I think that's what really made it. And I've seen so many different types of people. I've seen young people playing this. I've seen old people playing this. I think it's a very wide appeal. The theme may throw some people off, but
Thank you, Matt, for the super chat. I don't know, man. I still think it's weird that they, like, when they did the Halloween one and some other ones, they're like, we have rebalanced the tiles
rebalanced it.
mathematically.
Yeah,
And I'm thinking,
no.
I didn't know that was a thing.
right.
That's kind of crazy to me that if I get a newer version, no matter what the theme is, like the Valentine's one, it's technically like a fixed version. Are you kidding? Don't you need to go back and do that to Patchwork then?
Well, they might, for all we know.
They need to.
Or you're out.
Or I'm out. Yeah, I'm buying a known subpar product.
It might be a
not.
It might be a
I didn't
minor.
even know it needed to be fixed.
I know, but now that you do, isn't it going to haunt you a little bit?
No.
Isn't it going to bother you?
Not
Are you
at
going
all.
to wake up in the sweats thinking, Patchwork is wrong? It's never going to happen to you.
Patchwork.
That's going to happen.
All right, let's go to our final one. We need to end this session today.
Let's patch it up.
Must be fun to surprise. Mike, look at this list. It's
I
like,
look at my list. It's like a new surprise. Or something. Oh, really? This is my number 7. Well, nice choice, Mike. My number 71 is a game that is super hot right now. I happen to think it has staying power. I think this game is going to be popular for many years. And it is one of those games that I think is going to be so popular and is so popular that immediately I'm just waiting for that live chat to go, this game's not that great. Yeah, it is. My number 71 is Flamecraft. It's a fantastic game. Yes, it's cute.
I thought it was to say heat there, because that's
No, I thought it was-
everything.
I
Well,
figured it was
when
going
you talked
Flame.
about Heat, I thought you were talking about Flamecraft. Look, not every game needs to be a Lacerda. Lacerda games are great, right? Those are great. They're for a particular audience. This is a fantastic game, right? It's not the heaviest, but it's not trying to be. It is a lovely, lovely game where you are gathering resources, you're visiting locations that are going to allow you to do particular things, you're adding dragons to locations that are going to make those locations more enticing for other players, you're doing some contract fulfillment. It's again, it's a very, what's the word? It feels good, right? It's a game that gives you the feels, and that's
Round
what it's
mouth
trying to
feel.
do. Round mouth feel, right? This is a game that is giving you positive reinforcement, right? Everything you do is something that makes
do
you
like
feel
that.
good, and it's just I don't know what the pushback is. It's the same thing with
You're very defensive for no
I
one
know,
even
but it's
arguing
the
with you.
same thing with Wingspan.
It
I
is.
don't get why something that's popular doesn't mean
You
it
may
sucks.
not enjoy things I
Right.
don't enjoy.
Right. Just because it's cute doesn't mean that it's trash, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a good game.
Put that
Yeah.
quote on the box.
That's right. Number 71, Flamecraft. I just was surprised at the pushback. I mean, there's so many people that are excited about it, but there's so many people that are just like, I want no part of this. I don't get it.
And that's okay. That's okay. But again, there's no need to, what's the saying, yuck someone's yum?
Don't yuck their
Ooh,
yum.
MU Jedi Patched Works.
Oh.
That would be the name of the fixed version. That would be
Okay.
amazing.
Patchworks Patched Edition also. You could do that, you know?
Oh, lots of super chats. Bruce says,
Uh-huh.
toward the mic compatibility or towards donuts tomorrow?
Your call.
It's going to be donuts.
It's going to be donuts. Yeah, I don't think that's happening. I don't know if I got that many faces.
And a
in
lot of
me.
people said this game's not that great, but
Thank you, Crazy Panda.
Panda paid to
Paid
say
to
it,
say
okay?
it, so there you go.
My number 71 gets a lot of yucks, and obviously it's going to be my yum.
I'll give you a yum. Yum.
It's actually the yucking comes from you.
Oh.
So you might want to hold on to your horses.
I will take my yum back.
Put it back, eat it.
I threw up in my mouth.
Yummy. This is Minara.
Oh, interesting.
I don't yuck on this.
No,
I just,
this is the cooperative
No.
dexterity game.
Oh, sorry. I'll shut up.
Okay? This is the code names of stacking.
Oh.
Okay? You can put that quote on the box. Just don't credit it to me. I think this is a fantastic game. This is again, cooperative, kind of like Villa Paletti or whatever. Nobody knows what that is.
Want to spill the
Jenga,
jars, see?
whatever. Yeah, like 20 years ago. This is like Jenga-esque, whatever. You're putting the pillars together, you're putting new floors out, stacking more pillars on there, but you're trying to work together. And it blows my mind how that small tweak in mindset, really, because the rules, there's nothing inherently cooperative about it. I'm not holding your hand while you're doing it, you know what I mean? How that mental shift makes it that much more enjoyable to me.
Yeah.
Whereas in a lot of these stacking games, I'm just like, everybody's doing that whole like, I hope you mess up. I hope it falls. I hope your day is ruined. I hope you spill your milk. In this game, it's that camaraderie really makes the game for me. And I love that the game is not too difficult also. This is one that definitely scales easier. And the stand-up cheer moments in this are some of the best moments in cooperative gaming that I've had in any game. I think that really elevates it.
Yeah.
This is not the best cooperative game. I'm just saying that coming together, that holding your breath, putting a pillar out, and backing off, and everybody like, yeah, that's a great feeling in this one. And you get that over and over and over. So, Minara, The Pillars of Eternity. Is my number 71. I'm making up subtitles if they don't have one.
That's good. The first and only time I played this was on that live play, and it was fun.
It is fun.
I did enjoy it. I really did.
All right, my number 71 is a brand new game, and I love teaching it. There's some games every year I love teaching. This one I like because it's a fairly hefty Euro-style game with incredibly quick turns, and it is Revive.
Wow.
I hesitate to mention this game because it is difficult for people to get right now.
This is so difficult to find. How can you mention this?
Wow.
I don't think either of you can ever talk in this regard. But
what do you mean? Every one of my games is very easy to find.
This game,
Minara.
Again, I'm a really big fan of, hey, it's your turn, take a quick action. Next person's turn, take a quick action.
Yeah.
Here you're coming out of your hole after the apocalypse, and you are repopulating the earth. That's what's going on, and you do so with various actions on your turn. Take an action, you're discovering new things. It's sort of a deck builder, but not really, because every other turn you're playing with half your deck.
Yeah.
So you're not buying cards. You could even, you want to get some more cards, but when you get these cards, you have them that turn, and then once you use it, you have it the next turn. It's just a really good concept. I like it. The theme is okay. I mean, the post-apocalyptic thing works a little bit, but it's just very mechanical, and I enjoy it. Moving up on tracks, and this one's very popular right now, but it's also, again, hard to find. I think it's coming to America from Madigo. That's what I understand, but we'll have to see. But definitely one of the more popular games recently.
It is.
And I like it too. That's why it's on my list. All right, 71. Oh, that's a different list. All right, 71 was 94 for the people last year and 64 the year before that. I think this will be on here. This is one of the most popular roll and writes for people there is, and that is Cartographers.
Oh, yeah.
This just came out, the big box version of it, which is not particularly that big.
No.
Lots of expansions for this. People like this one because it's drawing a map, sort of, but it's fun.
It is.
It looks difficult.
It looks messy, although that's a particularly nice picture. You don't have to make them those colors.
Well, I know, but I want it to look like that, at least. Which is why this is not a roll and write for me, I think. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Give me tiles.
Thank you, Michael, for saying very nice things and a great super chat.
Yes.
Cartographers, again, this one is just really popular. I bought some stamps from Etsy for it.
Yeah.
My first Etsy package from the weekend showed up, by the way.
Oh, boy.
And I wanted to put these stamps on, but they're like fatter at the top than they are at the bottom, so it's hard to like center it on the square, which bugs me.
You can't tell where the stamp's going to end up. Got it.
Yeah.
Because it covers up the whole space, and you can't tell where that dot
I need it to
is.
be exactly a square away. If I got those, I bet you would then like the game.
I like it more, yeah.
Stamp, 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 stamp.
I feel like I'm playing bingo or something, yeah.
But you can shout bingo, and it's okay.
I shop bingo in a lot of board games, actually.
You shout bingo sometimes when you're working at your desk. You don't know that we hear you because you have your headphones in.
Yeah,
He just shouts, bingo!
Yeah. Vegas! That's how I do it.
All right, we are almost a third done with our list, folks.
Wow.
We'll be a third done tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow. In fact, is that the next? No. Tomorrow's Board Game Smorgasbord in the morning. Oh, you want to come for that? We got some new board game news to talk about. A top 3 list, which I can't remember what it is.
I know what it is. You want to say it, or do you want to say it?
You can tell me. I don't remember what it is.
The top 3 childhood toys.
Oh, that's right. And we're talking about two, what did I call it? 2 kingdoms of gaming?
2 different hobbies.
2 different hobbies. with that very clear overview of tomorrow's show for Board Game Smorgasbord.
You want to know more? You got to be here.
Alrighty. Thanks, everybody. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel.
I'm Mike DiLisio.
I'm Zee Garcia.
Have fun eating potatoes.
Kickstarter still going, people?
Kickstarter back at now.